Hi 4E, happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed making your math posters yesterday for the end of Unit 6. And thank you to those of you who have returned the assessment already. There's just been maybe 4 or 5 of you, so you have until Thursday to finish your assessment, which we emailed to your parents on Friday. So just make sure that you finish and send it back to me through a photo or a scan by Thursday, and then we'll go over the assessment on Friday. Okay, so today we're going to start our new unit, Unit 7, which is we're going to return to the topic of multiplication, and we're going to learn how to multiply and divide much bigger numbers than we had before. And also at the end of the week, we're going to learn a new strategy for multiplying. Okay, friends, so today we're going to learn about how to write numbers in expanded form and use those numbers to multiply by a single digit number. So for example, if you wanted to multiply 258, let's say, times 8, first you want to think about what this number would be in expanded form. So 258, how many hundreds are in that? 2, right? So 258 is made up of 200 plus, how many tens are there? There's 5 tens, right? So 50 plus, and then the ones. So 258 is 200 plus 50 plus 8. And now you can multiply each of those times the 8. Right? So 200 times 8 is 1,600. 50 times 8 is 400. And 8 times 8 is 64. Right? And then you can add all of these up. So 1,600 plus 400 plus 64. And remember, when you're doing the addition algorithm, just like we reviewed last week, you got to line up the digits. So ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. Okay, so this is 4, 6, 10, carry the 1, and that's 2,064 is your answer to 258 times 8. So remember, the big idea today for E is you need to rewrite the bigger number in expanded form first. Then you multiply each one of these by the single digit number, and then you add them all at the end. Okay, so I'm going to write one on the whiteboard, and on your blank paper in front of you, or if you have a whiteboard like me, you can try to solve it, okay? So let's say we wanted to solve 518 times 7, okay? So go ahead and think about what this would be in expanded form, and you multiply each one of those by the 7, and you add them. So I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, let's go through each one. 518 is 500, 10, and 8. That's what it would be in expanded form. Then you multiply each one by the 7. 500 times 7 is 3,500. 10 times 7 is 70. 8 times 7 is 56. And look, I like to line it up right when I'm multiplying, so then I don't have to add them and stack them again. I don't have to do it a second time. So I already stacked my numbers correctly according to place value. So now I can add, right? 7 plus 5 is 12, carry the 1, this is 6, and this is 3. So this is 3,000 626. Okay. So that's the big idea for today's lesson. You need to break apart the bigger number and write it in expanded form, and then you multiply each one by the single digit. Let's do one more, and I'll have you do this on your boards at the same time. Okay. What if we wanted to multiply 2,183 times 5? Okay, so go ahead and solve that on your paper or your whiteboard. Okay. If you're still working, that's okay, but I'm going to start by writing this in expanded form, right? So 2,183. There's 2,000 inside that number. There's 100 inside that number, right? 2,000 plus 100 plus 8 tens or 80 plus 3 ones, right? And now we multiply each one by this single digit number. So 2,000 times 5 is 10,000, right? Whoopsie. Then 100 times 5. And again, I like to stack it the right way the first time so I don't have to rewrite it. So 100 times 5 is 500. 80 times 5 is 400. 5 times 5 is 25. So now we can add them all together, right? The ones column, the tens column, the hundreds column, the thousands column, and the 10,000s column. So this is 10,925. Okay, mathematicians, so when you're working today, your first step is to break apart the bigger number and write it in expanded form, right? In the thousands, the hundreds, the tens, and then the ones. And some of the problems will also have 10,000s and maybe even 100,000s, okay? And then after you break it apart in expanded form, you multiply each one times a single digit. At the very beginning of the independent work, there's some problems that are just simple multiplications by multiplication equations by multiples of 10. Okay, so the first page on the independent work is going to have pretty simple things to get your mind warmed up, but it'll be something like this. If you know 7 times 6, then what would 7 times 60 be? Right? So 7 times 6 we all know is 42. 7 times 60 would be 10 times that, because 60 is 10 times of 6, right? So this would be 420, because 60 is 10 times 6. And by that same logic, if we know 7 times 6 is 42, 7D times 6 is also 420. Right? Because 7D is 10 times the 7. So the answer must also be 10 times. Okay? That's the first couple pages of the independent work. And then on the third page of the independent work, you're going to need to write the following numbers in expanded form, just like we did right now on the whiteboard. And then you're going to multiply each one by the single digit number. So I know we've done this in the past, I like to write little branches coming out of the bigger number, but you don't have to do that. You just want to expand the first number, and then you multiply each one times a single digit number, okay? So it's kind of like it would be if this wasn't there. You write this in expanded form, and then you multiply each one times the single digit number, and then you add them, okay? And you get your answer. And you can check your work, as always, on the answer sheet when you're done with all the independent work. The fourth page, there's some word problems. Okay, I also want you to write the bigger number in expanded form and multiply each one times the single digit number. These two problems, you have to add them all at the end to figure out how many footballs and basketballs all together and seashells. You'll see, but you have to do an additional step. And then there will be a more challenging page at the end. But all the answers will be posted in the answer key for you. Okay, 4E. I miss you. Have a great Tuesday. Bye.